I watched it from start to finish. Wolves, well done, Wolves. Simon, they were brilliant.
They're a good side.
They were brave. You said brave to me this morning. You couldn't be more right. They were on the front foot. They had a serious tilt at it at Old Trafford last night.
But there's no fear of Man United. It's gone. Whatever fear there was and whatever respect teams had for Manchester United, specifically Old Trafford, is gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's gone. If it existed, which it did, it exists no more. So teams are quite comfortable to have a go at United, especially this Manchester United that are clearly in transition from a manager that needed to go because culturally they weren't going to achieve under him, to a manager that may well just be another interim, or may well be a technical director, but they're in that phase at this moment in time. So it's right that Wolves stuck it upon them. And can you imagine if Wolves could score a lot of goals in games? Because if you look at their recent run of form,
that's right.
It's about goals, because it's not about how they play, because they're a good side. It's about their end product sometimes.
Yeah.
The end product was there yesterday to beat United.
They've got quality there, though. Moutinho, excellent. Ruben Neves, excellent. Connor Cody at the back. I mean,
they're a good team.
They are a good team, and it's right that we mention Wolves before we get into this. But post-match, and I noticed the boys last night, Jamie Redknapp, who I know very well, Paul Ince, you and I know Paul, on the telly last night, talking about Luke Shaw's post-match analysis, citing a lack of motivation being a serious concern. You bet it's a serious concern. I mean, this is what Shaw says. He says, you look at our squad, you look at our team, the players we have unbelievable quality. Sometimes quality isn't enough. Now it gets interesting, Simon. We need to bring the intensity. We need to be more aggressive. And we need to bring more motivation. We weren't on the front foot, and we didn't really put them under any pressure. What in heck's name is going on, Simon? This is Manchester United on a bank holiday Monday, live on Sky Sports, live on the telly, the nation's watching, at Old Trafford. We weren't on the front foot, and we didn't put them under any pressure.
Yeah, I mean, there's two parts to that particular statement. The first part is something that we've all been saying for some time, which is that they have an inordinate amount of quality in the squad, but they lack character, and they also lack the ability to do certain things, which is now the stable diet of the top sides, which is play with an intensity, play with a pressing scenario. And there was always that reservation. Graham Souness spoke about it when we went to Ibrox, and spoke about the innate ability of Manchester United to not have the resource to be able to press the way other sides do, and the energy that will be required the longer the season goes on. And we talked about Ronaldo, but this is across the board. This idea that these bunch of big time Charlies at United have inordinate amounts of quality isn't good enough, because if you look at the top 10 teams in this division, there is a huge amount of quality in all of them. So the quality side of things, unless you're going to work hard, unless you're going to apply yourself, unless you're going to compete with teams, all of that quality is for the birds. So that opening statement, or the opening part of the statement, is for nothing. Now, you then move on to the other part. Who's he talking about? Who specifically is he talking about? Is he talking about the front two? Is he talking about the front six? What's he talking about? Where is he talking about? Because ultimately it's all very ambiguous, and it's very easy to come out and say these things, but you can. But why don't?
Who's he talking about? Game? We need to bring more motivation. How can you not be motivated when you pull on the shirt of Manchester United?
Well,
how can you not be?
Well, it's your job, isn't it? So once upon a time, it was the club to play for. At this moment in time, it still has that luster in certain people's minds, especially mine. But it doesn't have it with other people, you know. And you look at it and say, they're a work in progress with Ranić, and people are going to start turning their focus on Ranić. You know, this group of players has gotten Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, alongside his lack of ability to be able to manage big clubs, have got him into a situation. They got rid of Mourinho because Mourinho couldn't beat the system. And so there are certain things that people are now looking at and saying, well, Mourinho was very dark and this and the other. And some of these players that he had pops at are beginning to show their true colours as well.
Exactly.
So I think United are in a slightly cleft position, but I don't think, despite the pile-on from Jamie Redknapp about the team selection and the tactics and people not knowing what they're doing, I don't think today you can judge Ranić. I think you've got to judge him over the next couple of months to see what this looks like. Because I think what you saw at Watford was the tip of the iceberg for Man United.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to start judging him sometime. Maybe not today, but not too early.
I mean, you can't. I know we've got this Tuchel blueprint, and I know I'm really happy to trot it out and say, hang on a second, all this crap about people needing time to get to the ground. But there's certain things that are more difficult to turn. Ocean liners don't turn quickly, and Manchester United are an ocean liner, and they need to be put back on their rails or put back into a course that's going in the right direction. They've got too many players in there that probably aren't right for the longer term.
So, I mean, basically, there are two questions here, Simon. Number one, how much longer can anyone keep blaming managers at Manchester United? Number two, and I'm not going to hold back in it, is this current Manchester United squad rotten?
Rotten is a probably extreme word. It's one I'd quite happily use in most contexts when it comes to certain footballers. I think it's a bit like that song, they're bad to the bone in certain ways.
Yeah.
There's a lack of culture inside that football club. And of course you have to blame managers, because it's the manager's job to be able to, or the head coach's job to bring all the players together to be able to get them
But no one can
focused.
get a tune out of them.
Well, you say no one can get a tune out of them. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't capable of bringing a side together to win something against the opposition he came up against. He was capable of adjusting the culture that had gotten very dark after Mourinho had not got his way over a few things and hadn't really committed himself to United perhaps the way he should have done, living in hotels and so on and so forth. But Mourinho got a tune out of them for 18 months and then the wheels come off. And that people often say they do with Mourinho. Louis van Gaal got a slight tune out of them, but he didn't fit the style of play and he didn't fit the ideas that Man United have.
No.
And David Moyes was given no chance. So you look at it and say, do you have to blame the manager? Of course you do. But do you have to say that squad of players will get a lot of managers a sack? Well, yes, they will. Players like some of these players that are in this team, whether it's Bruno Fernandes gesticulating behind the manager's back, whether it's Andy Martial being lightweight, or whether it's other players in there that simply aren't good enough, like Harry Maguire, in my view, that have got big price tags that come with reputations that they don't deserve.
I mean, how can Shaw say we need to bring more motivation? I
think you've got to separate what people say in context from being literally what they mean. You know, the motivation to play for Man United will be there, but there's this extra factor, an extra gear that maybe they're not finding right now, and maybe they're not understanding the message. Maybe they're going through a period. I'm not making excuses for Man United because it should be far better, but let's not lose sight of the fact that Wolverhampton Wanderers would have given anybody a game.
Oh, for sure.
They gave Chelsea a game the other day. They gave Man City a game the other day, and United are not as good as Chelsea and Manchester City. So why is it assumed that, both myself and Danny thought United would win yesterday? Because you keep on thinking United will arrive.
Yeah.
But Wolves were the class act yesterday.
They were.
So you've got to give it to Wolves and say, forget United for the time being, and look at the quality of Wolverhampton Wanderers and say, well, this was about Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, because it's United, because we've got Ince, and because you've got Redknapp, and they're talking away with television, and Paul Ince obviously playing in a very successful Man United side, but that's gone. That spirit has gone.
Yeah.
There's a different spirit here now.
But Ince was saying last night, it needs to be there. The spirit they had needs to be shown now.
Well, of course it does. But you've now had 8 years of a course of action that's not been right, from Ed Woodward to the management dugout to the culture.
No excuses.
I'm not giving them excuses.
Should be a given.
It's not an excuse. I'm giving you an explanation.
The spirit should be a given.
Of course it should be.
You pull that shirt on, it should be a given.
But I'm not sure that it's the spirit that's not there at this moment in time. I think the players ultimately aren't good enough at certain times, but also this unit that he's trying to pull together, he's trying to unpick what fundamentally wasn't good enough under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and was given immense latitude. And all this crap that we've listened to for the last 3 years about Ole's going the right way, the culture's been reset. And we've said this the other day, this cultural reset is a nonsense, it's a misnomer. It doesn't take 3 years to reset a culture when somebody's dark like Mourinho who's had enough of the place.
Yeah.
So he's given far too much latitude, and the malaise and the easy-ozy, lackadaisical sort of approach from United players where just enough is good enough is got to be arrested. And Ranić, I think, has got the character. And Bielsa, when he came into Leeds, which I'll give Leeds as an example, and of course Leeds are not Man United, it took him a little bit of time to get Leeds to be modelled into his image. And I know they're not going great this season, but don't understand the comparison.
I know what you're saying.
We'll get these guys going, I believe.
Ranić saying basically, and we'll hear from him in a moment, but he's saying it was never going to be a quick fix, and it's proving to be that way. But when you get Luke Shaw coming out and saying, look at the team, the players we have unbelievable quality, why not beating Wolves? Why are you not doing it? Why at least are you not showing more intensity? Why are you not at least more aggressive? Why aren't you more motivated? These are basic questions that we're asking of Manchester United players.
In that game, they were not allowed to by Wolves.
Simon, this is Wolves, to be quite honest. Yes, Wolves were great.
And they spent some money as well.
Wolves were great, but you're not talking about Barcelona in their pomp, or you're not talking about Bayern Munich coming calling last night.
Okay, but it's universally accepted that we are not looking at Manchester United 10 years ago. We're looking at Manchester United today. So we've got to compare it to what it really is. And we keep on saying this group of players, but we're talking about price tags.
Yeah.
We're talking about price tags. We're not talking about bona fide quality. When we talk about Pogba, a £90 million price tag, whilst he's been great for France, he hasn't been great for Man United. Maguire, £80 million price tags. Wan-Bissaka, £50 million price tags. It's the cost of assembling that side against the image of what Man United once were that lends us to the conclusion, lack of intensity. Maybe, despite all of that, they're just not good enough at this moment in time. And they're taking some time to get a new message through their rather obtuse skulls.
Well, they're clearly not good enough. And what about Shaw's post-match analysis then? This citing of a lack of motivation, surely that has got to seriously concern Manchester United fans listening this morning. Is this United squad rotten to the core?
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.